This is Calder Park Raceway, one of Australia's most loved and iconic racetracks, where friends and family would congregate to watch touring cars, NASCAR and drag racing. At least, that's what it was a couple decades ago. Fast forward to now, and it's back open and ready for carnage. As you can tell, they didn't fix anything after it sat abandoned for a few decades, but at least we get to race at a pretty epic racetrack.
Welcome back to another racing episode. Today we're at round 5 of the Australian Drivers' Championship here at Calder Park Raceway. What a place. On the absolute borderline of calling this place abandoned, but it is still thriving. There is still racing going on. This track and the layout actually produces some of the best racing I think I've ever seen, especially in the Australian Drivers' Championship or the hyper races, just because of the way that car is in terms of its aero package, and the slipstream is absolutely ridiculous. So I'm starting this video off today, which is Saturday morning. We've got one practice and then quali. Yesterday we had a full day of practice, which was awesome. It definitely took a while to pick up the track. You've really got to get that thing sliding, as it's just a lot of low speed corners, and just get the rotation mid corner, which I sort of struggled with at the start, mainly just because the track was super cold and there was no grip. But it came to me, and I think it should be a really interesting weekend. I don't think I'm going to be running up the front, as I usually do not, but I think we should have some battles and it should be a lot of fun. So we're going to do practice now. I've got one more session. It'll be really cold, so I don't think I'm going to learn too much. I'm just going to sort of check the track out and see how everything feels, and then we've got quali, so let's do it.
So before this episode starts, I want to give a massive shout out and thank you to the sponsor of this episode, and someone who's jumping on board for the remainder of the season, and that is Snus Australia. So if you're like me and you consume way too many energy drinks to stay energized for races, gym, study, whatever it is, you genuinely need to check these out. It's a pouch with 100 milligrams of caffeine with nothing else. None of all the stuff, if you read the ingredients label on the back of one of those energy cans, I don't even know what is in them or what I'm drinking. And this just takes kind of all that guess out of it. It's caffeine and that is it. And it really just helps give you that kick that you need before a race or gym, study, whatever it is. You may have seen the SNUS or the SNAU logo on the front wing of the car. They've jumped on board for the remainder of the season and are contributing to the costs of running the car for the remainder of the season, which is absolutely incredible, and I cannot thank them enough. Alrighty everyone, jumping on board here. As you can see, there is a car facing in the wrong direction, and then as we come around for our next lap, this car is still facing the wrong direction. So this session is going to get red flagged, as they obviously don't have reverse, being a bike-powered engine, so we cannot go backwards. Coming into the pit lane here, session is over for a little bit. We are going to get back out obviously, and we have a very little amount of time to get a lap in here, so we really need to make use of the little time as I lock the rears and drive straight off the track. That is exactly what you want. Perfect timing obviously, so I hit a nice little flick turn there, which is alright, and obviously cameraman's in the prime location to just capture this absolute beauty of a thing. But yeah, as I said before, we are running out of time. We've had a red flag, we've had this mishap, and this is our best lap, which was an absolute shocker, but it is what it is. So yeah, coming down the main straight, which is actually the drag strip at Calder Park here, very, very bumpy. As you can tell, this thing here almost launches you in the air, but you just, say, it's all good mate, don't even worry about it. Absolutely missing my braking marking there and over revving the car, but we managed to get it stopped and turned in, so this hopefully can be a lap. Bashing the limiter here, use all that concrete on the left hand side, sorry. This motocross jump here, you'll see the car get absolutely airborne and over rev to the moon. but it's all good. And then, yeah, as you can see, yeah, just absolutely shocking. I'm still, I guess, warming up to this, to my fastest lap, but obviously as I ran out of time, this was it. So you can see I was pretty slow through there. These corners weren't too bad. Get it turned in, get all the apexes nice, somewhat decent rotation, and we just bashed the limiter there. Pretty awesome, actually. Getting all the apexes, running it wide out here onto the main straight, and yeah, I was not too pleased with this. As I see the checkered flag on the left, you can see me bash my steering wheel here because I am not happy, but it is what it is. So as you can tell, I was pretty happy with that race. It was pretty good. We had a terrible start, but managed to make back all those positions on the first lap and then actually make our way somewhat through the field from 14th to to 11th. So we get to go into tomorrow, starting a little bit further up the grid.
All right, been a bit of a hectic day, but after that last race, which was absolutely epic, I did notice both my CV shafts. They had a significant amount of play in between the shaft and the shell. So I have gone ahead and replaced that, or both of those, with 2 fresh ones, which only took about 20 minutes, probably 15 even. Super easy to change shafts on these cars. So yeah, that's awesome. Time to go home, and we have 2 more races tomorrow, which should be a lot of fun. Let's do it. best races I've ever done. That was sick. Oh, it's so good! Woo!
Extremely happy with that race, as you can probably tell by my onboard footage. But coming up next, we're starting in P7 towards the front of the grid, and this is probably going to be one of the most controversial races I have ever experienced. Have a watch and I'll walk you through it. Alright, going to do my best to explain what just happened here. Basically, car spun out at turn 1 on the race start there. Actually, this car that will pass me on the left in just a second here. And it looked as though they were going to be beached, but actually they were able to get going again, so it was a bit of a premature red flag. Now, for some weird reason, they decided to put the order back to the original race start instead of just continuing it like it ended as we crossed the finish line for the first time, which I thought was weird. But so you can hear in my helmet potentially how pissed off I am, but it is what it is. So we are going to go back to, I think we're actually, instead of starting P7, we're going to start P6 on this restart, because there is a car missing, I can't remember, but yeah, so that is what's going to happen now. And yeah, as you can see, the marshal there letting us go, and we're going to restart this race in P6. So not horrendous, but unfortunately it's not the P4 that we got off that start. So yeah, let's go.
I just want to know if he's alright.
Yeah, he's alright.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's on the stretcher, he's moving and everything, yeah. Just precautionary, just make sure it's right.
Alright, so I know what you're thinking. What did I just watch? I'll try to explain a little bit what just happened. So, we had a red flag. When the race restarts, normally you would have a rolling start after a red flag. The car in the lead thought that it was a safety car restart. So they've gone single file and they've planted the foot off of the last corner. And as they've approached the start finish line, they've obviously seen the red lights to do a normal rolling start. And at that point, they've waved their hand as they're looking at red flags. And so they're slowing down. All the cars are then about to go up the back of each other. Most of them avoided it, obviously. Pretty much all of them avoided it, except for this one car who went to swerve to the right and ended up in the wall, which is incredibly unfortunate and just not a good situation. But as you can see here, we are restarting the race, so we have got to forget that even happened. All right, let's do it.
Copper shipping cable.